Thank you for that powerful reading of that poem, and thank you to everybody for sharing your poems today. I've got a few that I brought of my own. I only originally had two, but I had one that came up actually on my timeline, written by Michael Rosen in 2014 during Protective Edge, which is actually when I personally found the courage to finally speak publicly against the apartheid and what then was incremental genocide of the Palestinian people. Today, this morning, as I was kind of getting stuff ready to come down and to make sure I had my little bits and pieces ready, my poems I wanted to share, which are from Palestinians as well. It came up on my timeline by Middle East Monitor, a study that's just been undertaken by some professors, I think in Australia actually, but it's been looked at and supported by a number of similar professionals, where they've collated all the information that they've received in terms of the devastation, the confirmed deaths, because we know the numbers have been stagnant for so long. They've now put them up to 64,000 officially. But when you look at the devastation of Gaza, all of us know that this isn't the case. We've known this for a long time, but because all the means to properly record deaths have been destroyed, which is part of the erasure itself, it's been really hard for people to know. But what they've done is they've collated all the information they have and they've compared it to similar sort of atrocities and conflicts that have happened in other places where levels of violence have been, and what the estimates from that. But of course, what we see in Gaza is unprecedented in modern history in terms of the speed and the total erasure and annihilation of a people and its culture and its infrastructure and all of these things. And the number they came up with is 680,000. 680,000 people, they are saying, has died during this genocide that I would argue has evolved into a Holocaust. 68,000. And 380,000 of those are children. And I think when I realized that this morning, it just broke me. And I think it's what we're all feeling at the moment. And I just want to say it's okay to feel broken. I say this to you every time I stand here, that part of what they're trying to do is to rob us of our humanity so we become robots, so that we just submit to this horror, to this level of violent depravity that we have not witnessed since the Second World War. And I would say even worse, because people could argue at that time, rightfully, that they didn't know. I mean, many obviously didn't want to know, but they didn't know. But we all know what is going on. We all know what is happening. So it's a level of moral depravity I don't think we've actually ever seen in our known history as human beings. So when we allow ourselves to continue to live with open hearts and feel the pain that it causes, be proud of yourselves and know that that is resistance. Because with every tear, we are resisting the horror that they're trying to create. So hold on to that, because that means we're still human and we're still capable of loving. Every time we are still able to grieve, we are still capable of love. And it is love that will change the world. I am absolutely sure of that. So allow yourself to cry every tear that is so necessary. Allow yourself to feel the broken heart, because it is so necessary. Because it is only the willingness of broken hearts that we can make a decision that we do not want this anymore. These bastards are trying to create a world that will destroy all of us in different ways. And we must make a decision, a very conscious decision, that we will not allow this. Because nobody ultimately wins when we allow a society to lose any semblance of what it means to be a human, to connect with someone else. So I want to share that first, and be proud of yourself. Be proud that when you wake up, Your heart breaks. Be proud that sometimes it's hard to get off your knees. Be proud of that. But then allow yourself to remember, look at us, the community we're building and the community that's being built around the world. Look at each other, because we are love in action. And when we recognize that, we find resource. When we see that there is still a blue sky at times, there are still beautiful stars, there are still people writing poems and singing songs. And when we realize that, we know we have what it takes to keep moving forward no matter what, because we recognize what the alternative is, and we do not allow that to be the case for us. Not just for us, but for future generations. We will not damn them to a world where humanity is broken and buried in the rubble of Gaza. So I'm going to start also with Dr. Ezzedine from Gaza, written on the 10th of September. For days we have obeyed as though obedience might purchase our right to live. We left Gaza City and went south into the so-called safe zone, that bitter parody of salvation, but there is no salvation here. Tonight the house beside us was chosen as if by some cosmic tribunal to be torn apart. And so we sit together in a single room, pressed so close we can hear one another's hearts. The walls tremble with our silence. The air itself feels guilty for remaining still. We are no longer people, we are the condemned, awaiting the sound that will deliver the verdict. There are no safe zones in Gaza. The whole of this land has been turned into a graveyard where the living walk. Every home is a coffin with its lid not yet shut. We do not live. Life has fled from us. We simply endure, suspended on the edge of a scream, waiting for the instant when light and sound and dust will rush in and erase us. And if we die tonight, it will not be as martyrs or as soldiers, but as shadows passing wordlessly into the dark. Proof that the world was watching and did not move. The second piece is by Dr. Tawil, written on the 6th of September. Sometimes I feel an overwhelming urge to write, and at other times, those that have grown longer lately, I feel as though I want to silence even my inner voice. That voice which flows not only through the mind, but through the tiniest details of the body, tearing at me as hyenas tear at their prey, without granting me even a chance to breathe a farewell tune into the flute. I've grown weary of the vocabulary of despair, death, and misery, of fear, hunger, deprivation, loss, displacement, and extinction. I believe my soul yearns for the dictionary of life, where love calls, birds dance, and music overwhelms me with its gentle modes, until I forget who I am and become everything or nothing, or perhaps both at once, or maybe just a dream longing for a melody on the strings of memory. A lot of you will have realized before I read my final poem by Michael Rosen. A few days ago, a far-right commentator called Charlie Kirk was killed, murdered. And I condemn that violence because there is no place of violence in any moral society. But what really occurred to me is lots of people didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was, and I only came across him just recently. And he was a man that didn't preach love. He preached hate and division, which I believe in free speech. I think people have the right, as long as it's not incitement, to share even thoughts and feelings that I feel are abhorrent. Because when we protect somebody else's right, we also protect our own. But I think what really disgusted me was the media coverage that has been almost 24-hour highlighting an individual that preached hate for so long. We know about his children, his wife. And yes, we should send our condolences, as we should for anyone murdered. But the level of hypocrisy, as I considered the murder of Hind Rajab, a 6-year-old Palestinian girl who pleaded for her life, where there was almost deathly silence. The film has been made about it now, but even that hasn't really been covered properly. There was deathly silence as a 6-year-old was murdered with 355 bullets. And even the coverage was so outrageous that on CNN, they referred to her as a woman to try and somehow reduce the horror that had just occurred. And that is why I want to read this poem, as I said, written on the 24th of July or shared in The Guardian on the 24th of July 2014 by Michael Rosen. Because as we all know, and anyone who's been paying attention, this did not start on the 7th of October. It's called Don't Mention the Children. Don't mention the children. Don't name the dead children. The people must not know the names of the dead children. The names of the children must be hidden. The children must be nameless. The children must leave this world having no names. No one must know the names of the dead children. No one must say the names of the dead children. No one must even think that the children have names. People must understand that it would be dangerous to know the names of the children. The people must be protected from knowing the names of the children. The names of the children could spread like wildfire. The people would not be safe if they knew the names of the children. Don't name the dead children. Don't remember the dead children. Don't think of the dead children. Don't say dead children. Before we conclude, we're really privileged to have lovely Tanisha back, so she's going to share a final bit before I conclude for everybody. Thank you.
Hello.